Welcome back to Lost for Words with Lori. It is Thursday, November the 10th. I hope everybody is having a really good week. It has been busy over here at the Heathen's Haven. Lots going on. Back to the normal, semi-normal routine around here. Now that my travels are done and the new month is upon us, I am back to my work schedule as it used to be, and getting a little bit of normalcy around the house without having a whole room full of cats and kittens and all the responsibility that entails. So it's been really nice being able to take a little downtime for myself and take care of some of the business and household chores that need to get done. I still have a long ways to go, but one day at a time and baby steps as that goes. So yeah, I know you guys have been, some of you anyway, have been paying attention to some of the events and the things that have been going on in my world and also in the social medias, the interwebs, and in toxic cesspool world. And one of the things that I wanted to cover that I recognize that I haven't really talked a lot about, but it is worth bringing to attention, or at least unwrapping it a little bit today. We're going to call this poking the bear, rawr, right? But poking the bear meaning antagonizing and passive-aggressive behavior that elicits a response. Do you remember the scenario growing up? Like the boy or the girl likes someone in class and they pick on them and pull their hair and, do stuff to annoy them to get their attention. And I've kind of recognized this pattern on social media and also in toxic cesspool world of late of people picking on other people to get attention or to get their attention for that matter. And there are a lot of internet beefs that have gone on in the last year and in my communities, in my social media networks, and also in a lot of other different communities. And if you pay attention, and even if you don't, say just by chance that you're social media is the most happy, positive place, and there's never any drama. But it's in all the communities. It's everywhere. You cannot escape it. One observation is that people are jealous, people are insecure, and people react in their trauma response. And another observation is that within these internet squabbles and these social media beefs, most of the people, and this including my circle, we were all at some point friends. We all liked each other, or we liked the people that we are supposedly disagreeing or not liking or getting along with now. And I think that happens when everybody comes into the social medias in that area where you're looking to make new acquaintances, meet new people, find a new community, a new place. And you like people, you get to know them. Somebody's friendly, they reach out, they say, hey, I like what you do. And you find that commonality and start to make these new social connections, we'll call them. And inevitably, because people are unique and different and have, different perspectives about things based on their own life experiences, then you're going to have a disagreement. You're not going to see things from the same perspective, and therein causes conflicts. And I think I witness a lot of people using a lot of passive-aggressive jabs. I mean, I'm guilty of throwing juice boxes, right? I mean, it's like poking fun or making fun of things that I find to be funny because they're ironic or the behavior is stupid or whatever. And lots of other people are doing that same thing, using passive-aggressive jabs at others on the social media and in toxic cesspool world. And, for the most part, the juicebox theory that we, uphold to, in my little community is more out of fun, but in a way it is kind of spiteful. And it is a little antagonistic because it is pointing jabs at and poking the bear at people who use that kind of behavior. And, I guess to try to justify that behavior, which may or may not be a good thing, but I think that kind of sarcasm or that kind of jab, for the most part, for us is to kind of be a lighthearted way of recognizing that kind of behavior is really silly or it's not acceptable. And the antagonistic behavior that's aimed at getting reactions or gathering support of friends, which you could sometimes call loyalty scorekeeping, or manipulating others by trying to influence their opinions about the people they're beefing with, can either be lighthearted juice boxes, or sometimes it can be really mean and directed in a place of anger. And while I recognize that some people are just reacting as a trauma response, there are a lot of people who do it maliciously and on purpose. It's calculated. It's cold. It's, well, I'm going to, do a stream calling people out by name and then start throwing around a lot of derogatory personal insults like directed at people's looks or their weight or they don't have teeth or whatever that may be, knowing that those things hurt and the intent is malicious. It's to sting. It's to cause hurt and resentment. And, we're all human. We're all imperfect. We're all flawed. And every single one of us is emotional. And I think that a very common reactive emotional response to some of those emotions, like fear of rejection or depression, and getting defensive, is to lash out at those closest to us, whether they're in our first world or they're super close to us, or if it's just on the social medias. I find that's very true in social media and in toxic cesspool world and other communities. And I think recognizing those triggers and learning and practicing better coping skills is kind of a lifelong journey that evolves and grows as we all seek to become better versions of ourselves, myself included. I think we all need to find a safe place and trustful support people and a place where we can vent out our frustrations and rant and blow steam and get out those emotions in a safe environment. And finding that place or those people and having solid boundaries, trust, expectations with those people, that you won't be thrown to the wolves while you work on those things is essential, I think. And being able to find your tribe, find the people who offer you that safe space or that sounding board to get out what you're thinking, but at least have enough trust that they aren't going to turn around and start talking and gossiping about it to somebody else. I mean, if somebody uses you as a support, don't gossip. Don't share that with other people. You don't have to run off and be like, oh, do you know what so-and-so said? They told me they don't like so-and-so, or they're mad because so-and-so said this, or so-and-so's doing this on their social media page or platform. Being a good friend is the ability to listen, to give sound advice or feedback and on how to manage those emotions and share your own life experiences or maybe ideas of what a good conflict resolution would be or a good way to resolve your own emotions. Even if you're just mad because of something that you may or may not have observed, sometimes that triggers us. And it takes real mature people to sit back and go, wow, I'm mad about this and it has nothing to do with me, but why am I reacting? Why does it make me mad? A lot of that has to do with being able to turn around and dive deep into what makes you tick. What, flaws do you have in your own behavior that trigger you to be so angry? about what you're witnessing, and being able to manage your emotions and your frustrations in a more constructive and a healthy manner. I mean, do I talk shit? Absolutely. I think we all do. We witness things that we don't like, and yeah, I get triggered by some of those behaviors because it makes me angry to see people acting like douchebags, or being manipulative, or being narcissists, and treating other people like garbage, and then antagonizing and poking the bear to get a reaction on purpose, because you can tell it's malicious. There's patterns. You recognize those patterns. Everybody does that. I think it's a normal, natural human response. It's a regular trait. And I observe things that frustrate me, make me mad, or hurt me all the time. But the key for me and for other people, the takeaway is to recognize and deal with the emotions and find healthy ways to cope that don't involve drama and bad behavior and making petty, passive-aggressive jabs at people on the medias, because it's going to elicit a response. And if we're talking about truth being subjective, from somebody else's perspective, if you're going to attack them, they feel obligated and or necessary to defend themselves. And there really isn't anything wrong with that. But until people are able to sit down and be transparent and communicate with each other openly, with healthy boundaries and expectations in place, it leads to better relationships on the social medias and better communications, where people will believe that your reactions, if you are reacting poorly and you are lashing out, and you turn around and apologize and own that in your, in first time, in real time, and say, I made a mistake, that you're being authentic because you're working on trying not to do it again. And the patterns don't keep happening over and over and over again. I mean, you recognize people who are constantly in some kind of disagreement, discussion, beef, fight, argument, or, juicebox throwing that's malicious all the time. And you recognize that there are some people who cannot operate without that kind of drama and conflict. Being able to recognize that in yourself and establish very healthy expectations with people on your social medias about what you expect from them when they're angry or upset. For me, I'm accountable. If you recognize that I'm doing bad behavior and it's toward you, then you have a responsibility to call me out on that, just as much as I have a responsibility to try to recognize that I'm doing it. But a lot of people don't. And if you have acquaintances or a circle of people that you run with in your community that you all are close, or you have a platform where you talk behind scenes or have conversations, part of being on that journey to recognizing that you want to be a better version is to be able to have some of those uncomfortable conversations with the people that you like and say, you might have been being kind of an asshole towards this person, or I noticed that you're antagonizing and poking the bear, and, there are repercussions for that. They're going to react. They're going to defend themselves. And that this person doesn't do that well, and they're going to start attacking you or calling you names or trying to drag you through the mud. And sometimes we have to be more responsible, to be the bigger person, to make better choices, to go directly to that person and say, listen, we got a problem here. Let's squash this behind the scenes without involving all the people who do like each of you, or all of you, or are not involved, or just are here for a good time. Because at some point, everybody's going to witness something that makes them unhappy, or they don't approve of, or makes them uncomfortable. And sometimes people handle it really well, and sometimes people handle it poorly and have a meltdown. I'm raising my hand over here. I mean, I do it often when I'm having a tough time dealing with my own emotions, and something will come at you sideways and either trigger something worse or really piss you off, and your first reaction is to just get angry and snap. And I'm guilty of that and running my mouth where it probably should be silent. But I'm grateful to have people that I do trust on the social medias and in my first world, that when I'm feeling a certain way, I can reach out to them and touch base and say, hey, I just need you to listen. And then after I vented it all out, to just say, what do you think about this? Or do you have any feedback? Or either that or thanks. I just feel better getting that off my chest. And that's move on, I think learning better habits, better responses, better reactions, again, is just part of all of us trying to evolve and be the best versions of ourselves that we can be, I mean, the fact that we all did at one point like each other, supported each other, were interested in people's goals and dreams and cheerleaded those things isn't lost on me. But it takes really a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of maturity and courage to look at yourself and your role in that, especially on a social media platform where a lot of it isn't real life. A lot of it is not as important, but it might be important to somebody else. And I think taking the time to dive deeper into ourselves, what makes us tick, why we respond the way that we do, is just really good for learning to learn lessons and evolve and grow and just be a better human. But that's what I think today. Again, are we going to stop throwing juice boxes? Probably not. Because, at the end of the day, once the lesson is learned, a lot of it is us laughing at ourselves, laughing at the kind of the irony and the silliness of how we all act like children sometimes when our feelings are hurt and we throw tantrums and we turn around and poke the bear and antagonize other people as a response to that. Some of it's lighthearted and fun, and some of it is painful and hurtful and not okay. But being able to recognize the difference between those things and being able to continue to communicate transparently with the people in your communities on the social medias will help all of us form better relationships, strengthen the communities, continue to be more positive and look forward to good things where we're having fun and getting back to the mission statements of the reasons why we're here on social media in the first place. I hope everyone has a fantastic Friday and a wonderful weekend. As always, remember, wash your fucking hands and be a good human. Love y'all. See you later. Bye.